Raphinha brace, Yamal torture, clinical Lewandowski. That night, Hansi Flick's Barcelona didn't just beat Real Madrid, they humiliated them. It wasn't football, it was an exhibition, a lesson, a statement to the whole world that Barça were back and ready to reign again. This was the night where every pass, every press, every counter was poetry. The night where Raphinha turned into a nightmare, Lamine Yamal danced through defenders like they were ghosts, and Lewandowski, cold, ruthless, buried every ounce of Madrid's hope. This is the day Hansi Flick rained hell on Real Madrid. You know, the timing of this story couldn't be more perfect. The next El Clásico is just around the corner and everyone's talking about it. But before we get into that, we need to rewind to last season, because that's when Hansi Flick's Barcelona showed the world what real dominance looks like. Last season wasn't just a good one for Barcelona, it was a statement season. Every time they met Real Madrid, it felt like they had something to prove. And trust me, they proved it in the loudest way possible. Remember that league game? The one where Barcelona tore them apart 4-0? That wasn't just a win, it was destruction. Then came the Copa del Rey final, a thriller that ended 3-2 in Barca's favour. And even when Madrid tried to fight back later in the season at Camp Nou, Barcelona still won 4-3. Flick's team just had Madrid's number, but today isn't about those matches. Those were great, yeah. But the one we're talking about was something completely different. It was the Supercopa de España final, the match that turned into one of the most brutal demolitions in recent El Clásico history, 5-2. Now, here's what made that night even more poetic. Barcelona hadn't lifted this trophy since the 2022/23 season, back when Xavi was still in charge. And funny enough, that season they lost this exact title to the same opponent, Ancelotti's Real Madrid. So, coming into this final, there was more than just a trophy at stake. It was about revenge. It was about pride. It was about Flick showing that this new Barcelona project wasn't just talk, it was real. For both teams, this match mattered. It was still early in the season, and the Supercopa isn't the biggest trophy, sure, but for any side, winning it means momentum, confidence, and belief. And for Flick, it was his first shot at silverware as Barcelona manager. For Ancelotti, it was a chance to remind everyone that Madrid's dominance wasn't going anywhere. The setup was perfect. Two powerhouses, one trophy, and a rivalry that never needs extra fuel. Now, before we relive how the chaos unfolded, let's take a look at the two lineups that set the stage for this unforgettable night. For Real Madrid, Ancelotti went all out. He started with Courtois in goal, a reliable wall who's been saving Madrid for years. At the back, he went with Rudiger and Tchouaméni as the centre-back pairing. Yeah, that might sound a little unconventional, but it showed just how much Madrid trusted Tchouaméni's defensive discipline and athleticism. On the flanks, Ferland Mendy took his usual spot at left back, and Lucas Vázquez covered the right. Then came the midfield and attack, the heart of Ancelotti's plan. He used Camavinga and Valverde as his double pivot. Both are high-energy, physically dominant, and capable of covering ground quickly. Ahead of them, Jude Bellingham operated as the number 10, the link between the engine room and that devastating attack. And that attack was frightening. Rodrigo, Mbappe, and Vinicius Jr., three forwards who could kill any defense on the counter. Pace, flair, movement, that front line had it all. Madrid's setup screamed one thing: control the midfield, absorb the pressure, and explode on the break. Then came the midfield and attack, the heart of Ancelotti's plan. He used Camavinga and Valverde as his double pivot. Both are high-energy, physically dominant, and capable of covering ground quickly. Ahead of them, Jude Bellingham operated as the number 10, the link between the engine room and that devastating attack. And that attack was frightening. Rodrigo, Mbappe, and Vinicius Jr., three forwards who could kill any defense on the counter. Pace, flair, movement, that front line had it all. Madrid's setup screamed one thing: control the midfield, absorb the pressure, and explode on the break. But across the tunnel, Hansi Flick had other ideas. Barcelona's lineup was a mix of structure, youth, and confidence, the perfect reflection of Flick's style. In goal, he went with Wojciech Szczęsny, the experienced shot stopper who brought calmness to the back line. In defense, Balde started at left back and Koundé at right back, two fullbacks who can both defend and drive forward. At the center of defense, Martinez and Cubarsí formed the partnership, one experienced, one young, but both composed and technically gifted. Midfield was where Flick's magic really started. He played Pedri and Casado together, two players who complement each other perfectly. Pedri brought creativity and vision, while Casado added the control and bite needed to keep Madrid's midfield in check. Ahead of them, Gavi was deployed as the number 10, the engine, the spark, the player who connects everything between midfield and attack. Then came the front three, Raphinha, Lewandowski, and Raphinha and Yamal. Raphinha on the right, constantly cutting in with purpose. Yamal on the left, unpredictable and fearless. And Lewandowski right in the middle, the finisher who doesn't need many chances to make a difference. Flick's plan was clear: keep possession, control the rhythm, and hit Madrid with calculated aggression. It wasn't about chaos, it was about precision. So, on paper, it was set. Two teams built for different purposes. One relying on structure and speed, the other on control and technical dominance. The stage was ready. Now, with everything in place, let's get into how this battle actually unfolded and how the match started with absolute chaos right from the opening minutes. Right from the first whistle, you could tell both sides weren't here to waste time. Barcelona came out pressing high, setting traps and forcing mistakes. Yamal, full of energy, got the first real chance of the night, cutting in from the right and forcing Courtois into a sharp save. Seconds later, Raphinha connected with a cross, but his header whisked just wide. It was fast, intense, and everything you expect from an El Clásico. But then, in the blink of an eye, everything flipped. Real Madrid did what they do best: one swift counter-attack. Bellingham picked the ball deep in midfield, slipped a perfect pass between the lines, and suddenly Mbappe was gone. His acceleration left Koundé chasing shadows. One touch, one finish, bottom corner, 1-0 in the 5th minute. Jeddah erupted. It was a classic Madrid punch, ruthless, clinical, and against the run of play. For a moment, it looked like they were about to repeat their old trick: absorb pressure, strike fast, and control the tempo. But that early goal didn't shake Barcelona. In fact, it only lit a fire in them, and within minutes, they began to push back, setting up the moment that would change everything. What came next was pure control. Barcelona tightened their press, suffocating Madrid's build-up. Frenkie de Jong and Pedri dictated the rhythm, recycling the ball and forcing Madrid to sit deeper. Every time Yamal or Raphinha got on the ball, you could sense panic ripple through the Madrid backline. Then came the moment that silenced the Madrid section. In the 21st minute, Lamine Yamal picked up the ball on the right flank. Mendy stepped up to close him down, but Yamal froze him. A quick drop of the shoulder, a burst of pace, and then a cut inside that left Tchouaméni sliding the wrong way. From the edge of the box, the 17-year-old fired low into the far corner. Courtois stretched, but it was perfect. 1-1. The noise was deafening, and you could feel the momentum shift instantly. Madrid's defenders were now backpedaling, their midfield scrambling. Barcelona smelled weakness, and Flick's men didn't let go. They kept pressing, kept pushing, and soon that pressure would lead to controversy. By the 30th minute, Barcelona had complete control. Madrid were chasing shadows, trying to close down triangles that just kept opening up. Then came the moment that sparked fury and relief all at once. Gavi darted into the box, trying to latch onto a through ball. Camavinga came across, clipped his ankle, and down he went. The referee waved play on initially, but VAR called him over. After what felt like forever, the decision came. Penalty to Barcelona. Up stepped Robert Lewandowski. No hesitation, no stutter. He sent Courtois the wrong way and buried it into the corner. 2-1 Barcelona. That was the turning point. You could see it in Madrid's faces. Frustration, disbelief, and a touch of panic. Their shape collapsed, their passing grew sloppy, and Barcelona sensed blood. What happened next was a complete avalanche. 3 minutes after Lewandowski's goal, Barcelona struck again. Jules Koundé spotted Raphinha making a run at the back post and sent a perfect diagonal ball. The Brazilian timed his leap, met it clean, and powered a header into the corner. 3-1. The stadium exploded. Barcelona fans couldn't believe what they were witnessing, a complete dismantling of their biggest rival. Madrid looked rattled, unable to stop the waves of blue and garnet shirts pouring forward. Then came stoppage time, and Barcelona weren't done yet. Balde surged down the left, exchanged passes with Pedri, and sprinted into space. He found himself one-on-one with Courtois and slotted it home with composure. 4-1 at halftime. Absolute dominance. Flick's men had turned a nightmare start into total control. Madrid needed a miracle, but what they got instead was more punishment. The second half began almost the same way the first ended, with Barcelona in command. Just 3 minutes after the restart, Raphinha picked up where he left off. Pedri found him cutting in from the left, and Raphinha curled a beauty into the far corner. Courtois didn't even move. 5-1. That goal wasn't just about precision, it was a statement. Barcelona were not slowing down. They were dismantling Real Madrid piece by piece. Every pass had purpose. Every run looked rehearsed. Flick's pressing system had Madrid completely pinned. Modric and Valverde barely had a touch, and every attempt at building from the back ended in another Barcelona wave. By that point, it wasn't just about winning, it was about dominance. But then, as El Clásico often does, things took another twist. In the 56th minute, chaos struck again. Madrid broke forward, Mbappe sprinting clean through after a ball over the top. Szczęsny came out to close him down, but he mistimed it completely, clattering into Mbappe just outside the box. VAR reviewed it, and there was no escape. Red card. Barcelona were down to 10 men, and Iñaki Peña came on to replace the unlucky Szczęsny. Madrid saw their chance. From the resulting free kick, Rodrigo smashed it low, and it took a wicked deflection past Peña. 5-2. The Madrid bench jumped up. Suddenly, they believed again. They pushed for more. Mbappe forced one more big chance in stoppage time, cutting inside and firing low, but Peña made a stunning save to deny him. That was the moment. It was truly over. When the final whistle blew, Barcelona's players collapsed in celebration. They had done it. A 5-2 victory, their first trophy of the season, and Hansi Flick's first piece of silverware with the club. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement that this Barcelona side was back. That Supercopa victory was more than just a trophy, it was a statement. Barcelona didn't just beat Madrid, they dismantled them. Flick's team looked organized, ruthless and fearless, playing with a confidence that had been missing for years. Every player understood their role, and their composure after conceding early showed just how much belief Flick had built within the squad. For Madrid, the defeat was painful, not because of the scoreline, but because of how easily Barcelona controlled the game. Flick outcoached Ancelotti in every department. From that night, Barcelona's mentality changed. They believed they could compete with anyone again. It felt like the start of something real, something lasting. But football moves fast. And now, as the next El Clásico approaches, the stage looks very different. This time, though, Flick's side isn't as sharp. They've struggled for rhythm, their high line has been exposed, and their structure doesn't feel as solid. Rashford, the loan signing from Manchester United, has been their standout player. But beyond him, Barca have lacked that same killer instinct. Meanwhile, Madrid look dangerous again. Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo bring frightening pace, the exact kind that can punish Barcelona's defensive risks. For Flick, this match is about proving that last season's dominance wasn't a one-off. The pressure is higher, the stakes are bigger, and this next El Clásico could define the season. But what do you think? Can Barcelona defeat Real Madrid again? Let me know in the comments, and please make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out our last 2 videos. Thank you.